Chapter 8, Number 9. Explain what happens to contributions to GDP in each of the following situations. A woman who makes a living charging for investment advice on her internet website marries one of her clients to whom she now provides advice at no charge. One would probably hope so. What happens to GDP then when that change occurs? How does it change GDP? Well, the measured GDP, all else held constant, declines because something that was a service is now household production. So make sure you say it declines, but make sure you say why too. It was a service, part of consumption, but now it's no longer measured, it's household production and won't be included. A man who had washed the windows of his own house every year decides to pay a private company to wash those windows this year. The windows still get washed, either way, but only when you pay someone else to do it is it included in GDP. So GDP increases with letter B, and that is because this is a service, or also it's part of consumption now that this person is paying for it, even though it was happening either way. Letter C, a company that had been selling used firearms illegally finally gets around to obtaining an operating license and performing background checks as specified by law prior to each gun sale. What do you think about that? You have two things going on here. Well, the answer is, I'm trying to build up a little suspense. Measured GDP does not change. Why doesn't it change? You might be thinking it should because it was illegal and now it's legal. That was a Jedi mind trick. That would be true, except that these are used items, and used items are not included in GDP. So going from illegal to legal isn't really relevant when it's a used item. So that's the answer. It does not change, and I hope you have something in there as what you could say as to why it's not changing. There are two parts to that. Illegal becomes legal if it's new production, would raise GDP. But this isn't new production. It's used production, and used goods are not part of GDP. And that's the end of number 9.